Hey everyone, welcome back. So I thought I'd give you an update about some of the Grand Lenormand related things that I've been doing to help you along in your journey. If you're an English speaking person who is having, an ambition or a desire to learn these cards, I am too. So I just wanted to share with you my little findings and whatnot. In a previous video, I recommended this book, and I still do. It's really a fantastic book. I really relate to the interpretations because in every book, there's going to be a bit of a variation between the card meanings. So I do agree with these interpretations. So far in my journey with these cards, and I do practice with them on everyday situations and news stories and whatnot, I do find that the interpretations in this book are very relevant, okay? But recently I also got this book, and they say it's a bad thing to get too many books in the beginning because you're going to get confused, and that's true. But I also agree with the interpretations. So when something doesn't make sense to me and I check the blue book, then I'll look into this book and I'll translate it at the same time. So I'm almost done. I haven't translated the longer texts, but I have translated most of the cards. And again, you don't need to speak French, and I don't speak French. You don't need to speak French in order to understand these books. You just use Google Translate. It's super easy. You take a picture of the text and it automatically translates for you. Or you can type it out. I was typing it out for a long time, and then I realized that you can just take a picture. I was using an app called Photo App. No, not Photo App. It was some type of app that, if you watched so many commercials, it would translate the text for you. And then I realized that Google does it for free and does a heck of a better job. When you take pictures of the text, it'll translate the whole page for you, and it does a pretty good job. Much better than that terrible app. So just FYI. How many times did I look at Google Translate and not see the little camera icon on the side? Seriously, blonde moment. But this book by Carol Sedillo, I'm probably slaughtering that, and Chantal Frilot, it's really excellent. It shows you, the layout is really good. So it shows you the cartomancy meaning, the constellations, the letter, the geomantic symbol. It gives you a bit of a background here. The subject on the left, the bouquet, the subject on the right, and a synthesis of the entire card. So really, it's really good layout. There's a lot of extra text here that like I said, I haven't translated it, but I will get around to that. But it also goes into different spreads. For example, this reminds me of the Celtic cross a little bit. And so you just, like I said, you just use Google Translate, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So I just thought I'd share that. Now I have another book. I know I said don't get too many books, you're going to get confused, but I have another book on order. It's coming from France, and I will share that with you soon. It's from the 1980s, so it's a used copy. I will definitely update. So I'm an independent learner, so this is for independent learners like myself. There are online courses out there that you can definitely expedite the whole process, I suppose. But I find for myself that I learn, or I retain the information better if I'm independently learning, in this way, for example, by translating the texts. And it's kind of I don't know, it's fun. It's a fun process for me. For some it would be tedious, but my heart's really in it. So if your heart is in it, this will work for you. So here I wanted to show you this new deck. It's not a new deck, it's a homemade deck, and it is based off of the original printing of the Grand Lenormand cards from the mid-1800s, okay? And I believe it was Grimaud that published the first printing, although I'm not positive on that. But this is from the Gallica BNF website, okay? So I just printed them off. It's free to do this, and as long as you don't, you know, profit off of it somehow. So I'm not going to sell them or anything. They're for my own purposes. So I just printed them off. I reduced the size into like playing card size just because it's easier. And I'm not quite done yet, so it's a work in progress. I'll show you. I just printed them off and I glued them to the index card. So this is, I'll show you, it's a thick cardstock, okay? But anything will work, you guys. You don't have to order this. You can use old postcards or, you know, old folders, as long as they have a bit of thickness to them. And I also printed the original backs, this kind of ugly plaid back, but I want to stick to, you know, the original as much as possible. So I printed that off, and I basically glue that on before I cut the cards. So I'll show you the glue, and I've talked about this in other videos. I use a craft glue stick because if you use liquid glue, it will warp your cards. And you can use regular glue sticks, like the kind you give to your kids. That can work, but it might not last as long, and it might have a little bit too much moisture. I find this type is more dry and it lasts longer. It has a really good hold. All right, so yeah, and then I cut them as precisely as possible, and then I use a corner cutter. But I mean, if you're really good with scissors, you could just cut the corners with scissors. So it's up to you. Or you could actually leave the edges as pointy, because originally the cards did not have rounded corners, as far as I know. So I'll just quickly show you a bit of a comparison here with the more modern. Now again, this is my homemade copy, but it's closely resembling the modern Grimaud, like the post-1960 version. So you can see that the artwork is a lot more, well, it's a lot more cleaned up, and there's a bit of a difference. So overall, it's pretty much the same image, just a lot more clear on this copy, but I prefer, in some ways, the vintage look. I like the vintage look. I've said that before. I don't like the backs, but... So I'll just quickly flip through. And here, notice Sagittarius is in the sky. So for some reason, in the modern version, they omitted that, which is sad because I actually like that. That looks really cool. It's a shame they also didn't do that for the other Zodiac cards. Like in this copy, this is the only one where they included Sagittarius in the sky. So yeah, the vintage one is a little bit blurry, more muted, but it's pretty much the same. Maybe I'll zoom in. I'm so sorry. I should have thought of that. Okay, there we go. The colors, they're really, really bad. I mean, so bad. I hate yellow. This reminds me of the colors on the Gypsy Witch fortune-telling cards. You know what I mean? So let me know which one you like better. And if you want to do this for yourself, I will include the link in the description below. It is a bit tedious, but I mean, in your spare time, easy enough to do, because how else are you going to get a vintage copy of the original print of these cards, right? So that's just a brief introduction. There's more cards. I haven't made them all yet. And I'll just show you also, I have this. This is the Russian, I believe it's the Russian, or it could be Ukrainian, I'm not sure. Some type of Eastern European language there. The knockoff version, which a lot of people have actually. And I don't blame them because, you know, to get a Grimaud copy, like a modern Grimaud copy, can be rather pricey. And these sell on eBay for like, I think like 30 bucks I paid for it. So, whereas to get a Grimaud deck, oh, I just noticed this. To get a Grimaud deck, I mean, we're talking anywhere upwards from $50, $70, $90, unless you luck out. So these, I'll just zoom out a little bit. Okay. Colors are very vibrant. The cardstock is, you know, a little bit glossy. This card, the colors are kind of awful actually, but I mean, it'll still work. You know, you can still use this for divination. So I'll just try to find the consultant card here. And I'll also try to find the consultant card for the vintage copy. I think I might have passed it. Just a sec here. Okay, so here is the female consultant card. Pretty close. And so even if you want to just purchase this deck as your practice deck and you can write on it, there's an idea. Do I not have a male consultant card? Are you kidding me? Maybe, wouldn't that be something? Hold on. Oh, there he is. Okay. Phew. So I will quickly try to find the male and female consultant cards. I haven't made them yet, but this is from the original print. Okay, there we go. The male consultant and the female consultant. Not bad. Very close. Okay, so I hope that gave you some inspiration or something. And I will talk to you in the next video, and let me know what you think about the vintage copy. Do you like it, or is it kind of gross? Thanks for watching.